Today, we're going to talk about a company that simply put, as they say, make more farming. They're the folks at HitchPin. It's all a part of the next generation of farming, and HitchPin is helping farmers like you find what you need quickly. And we're joined now by the CEO of HitchPin, Trevor McKeeman. And Trevor, let's just talk about the history and kind of the reasons why you put together HitchPin.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Greg, for the opportunity to visit today. And this sounds like it's a kind of a new format that you guys are doing. So it's an honor to have a chance to be here and talk a little bit about HitchPin and just kind of where farming we think is heading. I'm a farm kid from Dickinson County. I grew up just north of Abilene. My folks still farm today, and I try to make it back as much as I can to help out. So we live here in Manhattan. The company is based in Manhattan, Kansas, and most of the team is from this part of the world. I guess if there's any chip on our shoulder, it's to show that we can really build some technology that helps farmers and do it in the part of the country that is really rooted in farming.
And that's important just because of the fact that this is where the generation's coming. You know, you grab your phone, you look at it, you do so much business off of that. And this is where an app like HitchPin really comes into play.
Absolutely. You know, the generation that will be taking over the farms here in the next few years, they're used to ordering things on Amazon, and they're used to using their phones with apps to understand weather and logistics and all that stuff. I mean, farming is kind of the original technology, right? I mean, that's civilization was built on farmers figuring out new ways of doing things faster and more efficiently. And I look at the type of tools that we're working on as just another iteration of that. So, you know, the tractor changed the game from horses, and I think as we look at some of this mobile technology, it's going to totally change the game in farming. But I believe in a very positive way.
Well, let's show them a couple of examples of that, because you started out with services and hay, but one of the things, of course, going on right now is wheat harvest across the state of Kansas. Absolutely. And you've got an example here, as we'll bring up the screen, of what you can do with the app itself. So take us through what we're seeing here.
Sure. So the whole goal here, and like you mentioned, we started with hay sales, and then really quickly went into services like wheat harvest, and really that was we just needed these things on our farm. So again, on our operation just around Abilene, there we raise quite a bit of prairie hay, and some years it goes really fast, and other years it's hard to sell. And one of the biggest challenges in hay is just getting paid quickly. You know, my dad is such a nice guy. We'd sell the hay, and it may be quite a while before that check would actually come through. And so when we first started out, we said, okay, let's figure out how to extend the reach of the farmer so they can meet new buyers, and then of course get hay if they need to. And so this is an example. This is the live app right here, and you can see how we're growing, very rapidly. Here we started out in Kansas, and you can kind of see where that demographic looks like. And it's been spreading. I think we're in 26 states now with different listings. So we can go in here, and I can show you. Actually, I'll show you the hay that my dad. My dad just sold. Actually, he just sold all of it. So it's off here. But here's a wheat harvest listing. I can actually take you to I just was visiting with a young producer the other day who is starting out with his own custom cutting operation. And so, this is a really sharp guy. He's in his 20s, and he's building this custom cutting operation. He doesn't have the giant book of business for being in the industry for a long time. And so here's a prime example of a guy that is using this to list his services. This is a posting in Garden City. And so I could go in here and I could see exactly what days he's available, the price per acre, and in really about 60 seconds, I could book that service.
And the great thing is you can really drill down, because if you have a customer that says, I've got fields that are in this county, but you can drill it down to the specific fields that they're looking at on that map.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we'll do an example of that. So let's say I wanted to hire wheat harvest, which, as you said, is pretty topical right now. I could go in here and I could see the dates that they're available. I can see their reviews. This is on our demo app, so this is showing what it would look like. I can see the radius that they will do jobs around that particular point. And then this is the cool part that you were mentioning. I can say, all right, I would like harvest done on this particular field right here. And so, I was growing up farming, I always loved how farmers describe their field. Go 5 miles, there's a cottonwood tree, turn left, and pull in where the old barn used to be. And so anyway, this takes the guesswork out of the location for both the guy that needs the service and the guy that's offering the service. So just in a few seconds there, we map the field, and we can call this southwest, and it auto calculates the acres for us, and then farmers can go in and manually adjust that if they want. So we can say it's 47 acres. And now I can go, these are all fields that I have mapped before. So you can basically, once you've mapped the field on your farm, you can do it at any time. And I can say, okay, that's the field I want wheat harvest done on, and I want it done on these days. And this is where we could put we have codes. So Farm Bureau codes and custom cutting codes for this conversation. We have an Alpha Media code. It's called KAN 2020. And what that does is it allows, the app is free, and it's free to list things, and it's free to browse, all that stuff. This code actually allows you to, when there is a successful transaction, there's no fees at all. So for 2020, we've partnered with Alpha Media, and essentially there's zero cost to use the app. We just want the feedback from farmers to help make sure that we're building something that's useful. So it's
oh, go ahead, Trevor.
So there it is. It's free code, and this shows you what it would cost to have that service done. I'll pay with the bank account. That's my bank account. Submit, and we're done. We just booked wheat harvest.
And that's just an example of some of the things that it can do on the phone app at HitchPin.com, or just go into HitchPin for your iOS systems. And Trevor, what's exciting though is you've expanded what you're able to offer, and now you're offering, it goes into livestock and other products as well.
Absolutely. And that's sort of our goal really is to be the best possible marketplace for farmers. So, whether that's buying or selling hay or other things, and honestly, with all the challenges associated with coronavirus, one of the things that we heard from producers over and over is, and in particular, the specialty crop growers in Kansas said, we're in real trouble. All of our normal markets, our supply chains are completely locked down. Is there any way we could list specialty crops on HitchPin? And so in just a matter of a couple of weeks, we've done that. And now you can go in and buy things like watermelon and sweet corn and any number of other apples, pears, things like that. And I think this is an interesting thing. The world was heading in this direction anyway, where the consumer would like to buy directly from the farmer. And I personally love that idea because I think it's beneficial to both sides. There's a greater connection. Hopefully the farmer has a better margin on their product, and the customer is getting it straight from the farm. So anyway, all that is live now. So producers can go out there and list those items. And as you mentioned, livestock is the thing that we just went live with a about a week ago. So you can go in and rather than, putting the stress on the animal, loading them up and hauling them around, you can take some photos and say, I've got 5 replacement heifers. Here's what I'm looking for on the price, and post it out there completely for free and see if others are interested in buying them.
As the services that you offer grows on the app itself, this is really just the tip of what we're seeing in this next generation of and technology as well, how those two really mesh together so good with regards to what you can do on your phone and so many things like that all have to do with improving technology.
Absolutely. And the challenge with agriculture is it's such a huge industry. Where do you start, right? And so, I mean, we talked about the live animals. We'll eventually be able to go into things like being able to buy beef on the app, and other kind of more processed type goods. So yeah, I think it's interesting. We had started this long before the coronavirus. I mean, this is the culmination of lots of years farming, and then also just a real interested in moving this. But if you look at other locations in China, for instance, they're doing direct consumer to producer type apps now, and they believe they'll process over $2 billion in transactions by the end of the year, all based completely off of what they've experienced on just the coronavirus. So we're in interesting times, but I think this sort of technology was going to happen either way.
Have you seen pretty good growth as far as the number of farmers and ranchers that have logged on and are now a part of HitchPin?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can see just from the listings here, but we've been growing about 20% on average a month for over a year. So in fact, we just crossed a major milestone in the size of our user base today, and it is moving very quickly. And I think the thing that excites me the most in all this is you got this demographic right now in farming. You got guys like my dad. He's 72. He loves to farm. He doesn't want to stop farming, but he doesn't want to go out and buy an $800 or $700,000 machine right now. And so this allows him to stay in the game. He can hire services when he needs them. He can more easily buy and sell hay, things like that. And then on the flip side of that, you've got this whole generation that would love to come back and farm. And there's so many of these guys that are getting pushed out because the farm isn't big enough to support multi-generation. And so, when I think about HitchPin and hopefully what we can help facilitate is those young guys coming back, and maybe now they can own a swather and a baler, and they can keep that thing running and pick up more jobs, and then hopefully expand their operation and give them a toehold that they would not have had without technology like this. So, I mean, we're out to do things that hopefully help the producers that are getting started and the ones that still want to remain farming.
Absolutely. So finally, if people want more information, we've been talking about getting on the app for iOS systems, but they can go to your website as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So for iOS, for your iPad and your iPhone, there's a free app to download. It's just, if you go to the App Store and search for HitchPin Agriculture, you can find it and download it. And it's again, it's all free to do that. And then for Android and for folks using the personal computers, just HitchPin.com. And the web app for that works just as well as the iOS app. Eventually, we will have a dedicated Android app too. But for Android phone users, the web works really well. And that's, again, just HitchPin.com. We're also doing something pretty cool. We're going to give away a UTV. Every farmer loves a UTV. And so we're giving that away, and you can go to the website. It's, I think, hitchpin.com/UTV. And what we're doing is to try to share the stories of farmers out there. We also have a video competition, so you can go out and you can film your operation. Tell us what it's like to grow apples or grow soybeans, shoot a video on it, and then enter it, and basically that's one of the ways that you can be entered to win this UTV. So you don't have to submit a video to be in that, but you're totally welcome to do that, and use that KAN 2020 code when you create an account.
All right, sounds good. Trevor, it's been a pleasure to get updated on HitchPin, and congratulations on all the success. And I know with the expansion of HitchPin, exciting times are yet to come for you guys.